In the latest legal setback for the former president, the federal judge overseeing Trump's lawsuit, a judge who was, by the way, appointed by Donald Trump, is asking Trump to clarify the exact purpose of the lawsuit that he filed yesterday, the one asking for a special master to review the documents seized by the FBI in August. Joining us now is a former prosecutor in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and a current professor at New York University Law School, Rebecca Roiphe. Rebecca, thanks for joining me. We have a lot to talk about here. So first, let me just get your reaction to the Washington Post reporting about how centrally Trump was involved in the selection of these documents, that it was shrouded in secrecy, that the documents themselves were highly sensitive. What do you see as potential legal implications of all of that?
Well, in order to prove any kind of crime, especially, there's been a lot of discussion about the Espionage Act since we saw the search warrant. You need to show two things, that the act actually happened and that the person possessed the state of mind that's required in order to have criminal liability. And so this is relevant for both of those things. He was in possession of these documents that were highly classified and highly sensitive. We should really use the term sensitive because the criminal statutes don't refer to classification level. They just refer to something that implicates the national security. And so he had those documents. The next question is, did he willfully retain them? And that's this reporting is so critical for that, because what it essentially says is that he was personally involved in this. He can't blame somebody else. It was him. And also that there were all of these repeated requests to cooperate. And so that makes it look like it wasn't any accident. He was really doing this on purpose.
The fact that a Trump ally released one critical piece of paper in a paper trail that shows Donald Trump was not willing and was not cooperative really does. I mean, it fits under the dictionary definition of shooting oneself in one's foot. I mean, did you think that there was any credence to implicating Biden somehow in any of this?
Here's the thing, is that when Trump's legal avenues start to close, when there start to be fewer and fewer legal claims he can make, he retreats to this one thing that has worked for him repeatedly, which is the witch hunt. This is the Democrats. They're out to get me. This is a politically motivated thing. And it has worked for him politically, not legally, but politically. And so in that regard, I suppose there are little crumbs in here that you might, if you twist around, make it look like, oh, Biden, who keeps saying that he's leaving this all to his Department of Justice, was involved. But if you look at it a little bit more closely, that disappears because he was only involved in a sort of nominal way because he is the president. I mean, these documents belong to the presidency.
Right.
So how can you approve their transfer to the Department of Justice without him signing off on it? But he specifically said, look, I'm deferring to the Department of Justice in terms of the legal determination of whether or not these are privileged. All I'm doing is saying, like, OK, if this is a determination that's been made, I give my OK. And so he's not meddling in some kind of improper way in the investigation or in this, if it turns into an ultimate prosecution. That's not what he's doing. But through smoke and mirrors, I suppose, they were trying to make it look that way.
Well, I mean, there's more to get to in future hours ahead, Rebecca, including the appointment of a special master and whether we think that's going to happen, even though it's a Trump-appointed judge who's looking at that. Rebecca Roiphe, former prosecutor in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, thank you for your time. I appreciate it and your wisdom.